I get a lot of requests from people that watch my videos to talk about narcissistic adult children. So that's what I'm going to do in this video. And I can tell you right from the top that having an adult child who is a narcissist is incredibly painful, and it is not easy to deal with. But let me make a little bit of a distinction here. So people often call people that they see as selfish narcissists. Selfishness is a narcissistic trait. When somebody is selfish, it means they're self-centered and they can only see themselves. But being selfish does not make a person an actual narcissist. So there's two things that parents are dealing with here. One, there may be people that have extremely selfish, self-centered, entitled adult children who act very selfishly in that relationship. The second is that there are those who actually have adult children with what is called narcissistic personality disorder. Now, the difference is those with narcissistic personality disorder will not just be this way with you as their mom and dad, but they're that way with everyone. They're narcissists in their marriage, as a parent, as a child, as an employee, as a friend. It's what is called pervasive in all relationships. Doesn't change depending on who the relationship is with. So that might help you in looking at whether or not the root of this behavior is in the relationship with you, or if it's literally how this other person is wired. Because when somebody has a personality disorder, that's truly what it means. It means that that person is wired that way. That's the way the brain functions, that's the way the world is viewed, that's the way this person operates. Okay. And if that person has narcissistic personality disorder, it means that they will have at least 5 of the following: grandiose sense of self-importance, where they exaggerate their own abilities and they expect to be recognized as superior, so they feel very much better than others. Fantasies of unlimited success, power, brilliance, beauty, or ideal love. This is from the DSM-4, which is the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Illness. The next one is a belief that they are special or unique and should only associate themselves with special people. They require excessive admiration. They feel entitled and deserve that they should get special treatment or automatic compliance with their expectations. They exploit other people to achieve their own ends. And here's a big one: they lack empathy and are completely unable to empathize with another person's experience or feelings or pain. They're envious of others, believe others are envious of them, and they're arrogant and haughty attitude and behavior. Now, at least 5 of those. Now, I know probably difficult for you to go back through and see what all of those are, but that would be the narcissist personality. So whether you're dealing with a narcissistic personality or an adult child that is just extremely demanding, extremely self-centered, extremely entitled, the outcome in that relationship with you is probably going to be, I'm going to guess, about the same. Here's probably how it goes, because this is what's been explained to me. You have an adult child who feels very entitled, who expects things to be a certain way. They're very demanding of you, what you do, how you do it, when you do it, what you're allowed to do, what you're not allowed to do. And if you do something wrong, or you deviate a little, or you make a mistake, or you say the wrong thing, you're cut off, you're punished, you're not allowed to see the grandchildren, you're not allowed to come over, you're not allowed to have them anymore. Maybe you're punished for a month or 2 or 3, you're not allowed to call them, and you constantly have this people, and it could be your child and spouse, or it could just be your child that is doing this and the spouse is trying to work with you to not have it happen. So what you've got is somebody who's basically kind of terrorizing you and using your grandchildren as pawns. And you're trying as best you can to do what's right and still maintain a relationship with your grandchildren. It's a very difficult place to be in. So where does that all come from? Well, if you've got a child who's got narcissistic personality disorder, that's what narcissists do. They demand that their wishes are complied with. If you don't do it their way, they cut you off, they punish you, they become very cold, they become distant, and they're great at cutting off the relationship, having nothing to do with you, acting as if you don't exist, favoring someone else. Maybe they do this and they manipulate. If you're divorced from that person's father or mother, that person, your child, might cut you off and then move closer toward the other parent, kind of in response. Like, okay, if you don't do what I want you to do and this person does, then I'm going to warm up to this person and I'm going to distance myself from you. That makes it hurt even more. So narcissists are moody, they're difficult to deal with, they don't care about your feelings, they're unaware or unconcerned with whether or not you're hurt, make it very difficult for you to say no. The relationship operates on their terms. There's no room for negotiation, explanation. There's no room for you to give a different perspective, to explain, what you meant or what you did or that you didn't mean it that way. It just is what it is, and boom, that's you're going to get the cutoff and the consequence. The narcissist does not look at himself or herself and see problems. The narcissist is not willing to cooperate, not willing to work with you, not willing to figure things out and resolve them, and really doesn't even recognize your boundaries or the appropriateness or inappropriateness of what is being done. It hurts. There's no other way about it but to say how hurtful and painful that is, number one, for a child that comes from your own body that you have raised and given your life to turn on you and to be willing to cut you off or to punish you, especially when it's unfair, it's unreasonable, you haven't done anything wrong, you've been trying, and it is manipulative. I have grandchildren. I love those grandchildren to death. I would be heartbroken if those grandchildren were ripped away from me. And, it's not good for them either, because grandchildren have a special bond with grandparents, and they want to see them. And that is putting the children as pawns. But what do? We've talked about the why, we've talked about the problem. What's the solution? I'm going to be honest with you. There are certain parts of this that you have absolutely no control over. You cannot control the narcissist's thoughts. You cannot control the narcissist's feelings. You cannot control the narcissist's actions. You cannot control what the narcissist chooses to do. But you can choose how you conduct yourself with the narcissist. So you want to get stronger within you. You want to not go to the narcissist for approval, agreement, validation. You don't want to explain things to the narcissist. You don't want to try to get the narcissist to care about your feelings. One of the best things that you can do with the narcissist is you can appeal to the narcissist's narcissistic behavior or self-image, or this narcissist image that is wanting to be portrayed. Make it in the best interest of the narcissist. So instead of saying, you're so cruel to cut the children off, I didn't do anything wrong, don't punish me, it doesn't get you anywhere. In fact, it might even make you seem weak and more pathetic to the narcissist, which will breed increased contempt. You want to say, I know you're a good dad, I know you're a good mom, I know you care about the children. I know that you want what's in the best interest of the children, and you wouldn't let something that I've done or that's come between us hurt your children. So I think, I'd like to ask you to, do what's right as a good dad, because you are a good dad. What you're doing there sounds manipulative, and it kind of is, but the outcome and the motive is healthy. You are appealing to the narcissistic nature to do the right thing in a way that the narcissist is most likely to respond to. Or you might want to say, I know you don't want the family to know that there's a problem. Or I know you don't want the family to know that there's internal turmoil. Or I know you don't want outsiders to know about what's going on. Not bribing that you're going to tell, but just say, for instance, when the kids aren't around, other family members notice the grandkids aren't around. So you want to learn to validate yourself, you know, okay, this hurts, I didn't do anything wrong, I made the right choice, so that you won't feel overly guilty and overly bad. If you need help with self-validation, find an outside counselor, friend, somebody else who knows the situation and can recognize the patterns to help you validate. You want to just totally give up trying to make that narcissistic child validate your feelings and needs. Don't waste your time. It's not going to happen. Again, like I said, appeal to that person in a way that makes that person look good, feel good, and do the best thing for the kids. Take care of your own needs. You are going to have to get strong, and you are going to have to find ways to fulfill yourself that do not focus only on how this narcissistic child treats you. If you got a narcissistic adult child who has a tendency to punish and pull grandkids away at a whim, you need a life. You need a life that includes more than your grandkids, more than your child. There are a lot of things that are fun and interesting and enjoyable that are not necessarily just things with our grandkids. So go build a life, get strong, have things that you enjoy. So when those times are rocky and that child kind of pulls away, you'll still have a full life that you enjoy. Identify the things in you that make you vulnerable. You know, what gets you tripped up with the narcissist? What makes you grovel? What makes you react in a way that the narcissist then uses against you? What helps you to be detached? What helps you to stay calm? What helps you to step back and make good decisions, or to stay standing in your own truth? Look at it. Look how you're affected. What are your weak points? What are your fears? What easily guilts you? You want to identify the narcissistic behaviors that this adult child does to you, so you'll see them. And when you see them, you'll recognize them. And so they'll be less shocking, less painful, and you'll be more prepared to respond to them in a good way for you. So is it the coldness? Is it the cold stare? Is it the hanging up on the phone? Is it the not calling you? Is it the saying something good about your ex-spouse, throwing it in your face? Is it going to your ex-spouse and doing something and talking about how nice it is to be with that parent instead of you, and how that parent, you know, is good to the kids and good to him? I mean, what is it that the narcissist does that triggers a lot of stuff in you, so you can be prepared? You want to set clear boundaries. There are going to have to be some boundary areas. I'm sorry, but that is going to protect you. You cannot have no boundaries with the narcissist. Now, I've walked this road with friends and with clients, and to some extent in my own life. What you have to do is you have to say, okay, what's the prize here? The prize is mostly your grandchildren. Secondly, your adult child. Your goal is to maintain a relationship, not to change your adult child, because you can't, but to try to maintain a relationship for your sake, for the grandkids' sake. So you're going to have kind of some wiggle room here. It's not going to be like a normal relationship where no matter what, you're not going to, you know, do anything to give in, or anything, you know, at all to comply or go along with things. There's going to be a little wiggle room. Sometimes you're going to do something you don't want to do just because that's going to save that opportunity to be with your grandkids. then there are going to be things that you just can't do. These are going to be bottom line, I can't go that far. I'm not going to tell you what those are. You're going to know what those are. That's going to be that area of the no-go zone. And there's going to be times where you're going to have to be assertive and you're going to have to state that. Other times, you're going to be able to overlook things. So that's what you're going to have to figure out. And the same thing with any other difficult person, use all your repertoire of skills. When that person says something to get you to react, detach and don't react. When that person says the same thing over and over again, change the subject. When that person accuses you, don't bite the hook. When that person blames you, don't take it on. All of the things that you do with any difficult person can be done also with this adult child who is narcissistic. Now, I'll have to say something for this generation, and I'll do a video on this soon. We have, in the United States, a just absolute crisis of entitlement, where people feel entitled to things that they have not earned. And unfortunately, that is also affecting our adult children, to where they feel entitled to demand things from us as parents that we would have never even asked in a million years our parents to do one generation before. So keep that in mind, and just be willing to make a stand and do what you know is right, and not give in to demands that spring from entitlement in our adult children. So I hope that this has helped you. I should say with this that there are times that you have to be the one who chooses to sever for a time, for a season, a relationship with a really narcissistic, toxic adult child. You cannot allow somebody to invade your life to the point where it destroys you. You have to be willing to protect yourself. So in extreme circumstances, that is a last resort. So if you have any more questions on this or thoughts, or if you found this really helpful, I'd really love to hear from you. Please email me or write a comment on this video. I do get those comments and I will check them and respond to you. So I hope you found this helpful. I hope that this has clarified this topic for you, and I hope you'll watch more videos on Change My Relationship. Thank you.